Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time we've all been waiting for. Get ready to boogity, 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 because today we're racing the Daytona 500. What in the living hell is a Mackenpucky? As I started my qualifying lap, I was more nervous than a whore in church. Having an old veteran like Tony Stewart for a spotter did help, but I'd been wanting to win a Daytona 500 since I was knee-high to a grasshopper.
How do you think we measured up? I'll let you know.
Well, howdy do. I do believe we measured right up to a pole position. So before this race gets underway, I figure now's a good spot to point out we are racing a 500-mile race. I've got all the assists turned off and the difficulty set as hard as I could make it. We're going to be running with full damage and strict cautions, and I already locked the old lady out so she wouldn't get on my damn nerves. We are going to be running a 3-stage race, and I am wearing an adult diaper. So as you can see, this is pretty much as close to the real thing as any man could ever get. Now that everybody's caught up and Loretta's good and pissed off, let's get down to business, shall we? Boogity, 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 boys! Let's go racing!
Clear high, clear high.
Now on tracks like Daytona, everybody races around in one big pack, and one wreck can take out the entire field. Now there's 2 places you can try to run to avoid this wreck. In the back, or right where I was this very minute up front. And that's where I plan to try to stay most of the race.
Got a car coming high now.
So what I need to do is let these fellers by and figure out which one I'm gonna push to glory. Then I'll leave the other ones behind like that little fat girl that didn't put out at my senior prom. What a waste of time that was. Now the problem I'm having here is that 34 keeps pulling down and side drafting. Now that'll only slow both of us down, and if he keeps doing that, the 2 in front are going to create a gap between themselves and the field and start to pull away. Alright, now here's our chance.
Still there.
We'll just try to stay in the draft of this car in front of us and see if we can try to find a way to carry the momentum to finally clear his 34 car once and for all. Will you get off me, you son of a bitch! You know, I don't know how in the hell I expect myself to keep it between the lines for 500 miles. I'm already contemplating felonious activity.
Careful, still there. Top 3, use it if you need it.
Alright, Mr. Chris Busher, it's me and you. I hope you use that good cherry blossom massengale, because I'm about to sniff your butthole for the next 60 laps. But I won't put y'all through the pain of watching me follow this fella around. Instead, we'll skip forward to around lap 50 when everybody had to pit. I missed my mark coming in. I had to stand on the brakes in order to make the required 55-mile-an-hour speed limit for pit road. I grabbed 4 tires and just enough fuel to make it to the end, and off I went. It looks like I may have been a little too efficient getting on and off pit road. It'll be a couple laps before the field catches up. Well, here comes old Chris Busher now.
Got a car low now.
We'll pull up and let him by. There's still about a dozen laps left in stage 1, and it's still way too early to be making moves.
2 laps left. Stay calm.
Copy that, Tony. 2 laps left in stage 1. But we still got 135 laps left in the race. I can't really afford to crack my car up racing this fella right here. But I do feel like it's a good opportunity to learn something. As you're about to see, getting around a car on this track isn't as easy as you would think. The low line is the shortest way around the track, however the high line carries more momentum. But working together the last 60 laps or so, we did manage to build up about a 5-second gap between ourselves and the rest of the field. I figured now's as good a time as any to rattle this old boy's cage. And at this point, we've been running side by side with old Busher for about a lap and a half. What I needed to do was let this fool by. I needed to let him create a gap just big enough that I could gain momentum coming into 3 and 4. If everything worked out perfectly, I could get by him just as we crossed the start-finish line. Here I come, Busher, you son of a bitch. And you better not raise no fuss either. I don't know if you've watched any of my other videos, but I am not afraid to put you in the wall.
Top 5 that stage.
Well, second place in the first stage ain't too bad, and I did learn a couple things. Number 1, I need to start that last run a little bit earlier. Number 2, old Chris Busher's an asshole. But never mind all that. Let's get some fresh rubber and fill up the tank. We still got 2 stages left in this race. I'll see y'all on the track. Now, if I remember correctly, just like stage 1, stage 2 is 65 laps as well. What I need to do in the beginning is guard the bottom line. I need to find some unsuspecting fool to pull me around the track, waste his gas while I save mine. But I figure as long as I keep my foot on the gas and my tires down there on that yellow line, everything should work out just fine. Yeah, mule, yeah! Get your ass down the track. I've got to clear Busher now. He's been paying my ass this whole race. Alright, now there's still plenty of race left in this stage, so I guess the best thing to do is sit back and follow this guy for a while. Well, right off the damn bat, he ain't got no speed and can't pull away from the field. And ain't but 2 laps later, he starts running a high line and letting them catch up to us. What the hell do you think you're doing, Matty D? Use your brain. Oh, hell no. Y'all sure as the hell ain't hanging me out to dry on the outside. Old Matty D made that bed. Let's let that man sleep in it. And just like that, I was leading the Daytona 500. My only issue was this was absolutely 100% not where I wanted to be. It's way too early. At this point, I'm the one spending all the fuel toting the field around. Now, how's that fair? So I'd say the best strategy for an old country boy like me at this point would probably be to wait for the straightaway. We'll pull down under the yellow line, but not to pass. That's against the rules. However, it's not against the rules to let a couple by that way. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to find us another stagecoach, and it's off to the races again. Get the hell out, Loretta. Shit's getting intense in here, and I can't have you trying to put a hitch in my giddy-up. And I decided to follow old Ryan Blaney here to create the space I needed when a caution came out. During the caution, Loretta started beating me with a newspaper and caused me to pit. And now I've got to restart this damn race in 36th place. There's only 30 laps to go in stage 2, and I do see an impending divorce on the horizon. Now, running in the back of Daytona can be scary as hell. I really wanted to take care of my car, as winning stage 2 wasn't at the top of my priority list. I wanted to win the big one. I wanted the full win at stage 3, and there was still a while to go. So I hunkered down and gave everybody as much room as I could. It wasn't until the next caution came out, with only 6 laps left to go in the stage, I knew it was time to put that pedal to the metal. But that's when something came over me. My ears had already swollen shut from the previous newspaper beating I'd got from Loretta. I couldn't even hear her bitch anymore. At that point, I was able to focus my anger, focus my rage. I started to drive through the field like a madman. It was like something I'd never seen before in my life, and I'll probably never see it again. And I zigged, and I zagged, I bobbed and I weaved until with only 2 laps left, I was in 7th. I seen daylight and headed for the front of the pack. I really didn't know if I had time to make it to the front, but what I did know was I had a chance. So when the 2 fellers up front began to run side by side, I knew the pack was soon to lose momentum. So I hugged the inside line. I guarded my position and I was able to catch a draft of old David Reagan. Now that puts me in what they like to call the old catbird seat. Now those of you that are still with me surely remember the mistake I made at the end of stage 1. We'd spent over 2 laps experimenting with Chris Buescher. Now all that was on the track. I don't care what anybody said. Nothing happened in his infield camper, and I don't care what them boys in the garage say. What we learned was if we started our run too early, we'd never have the momentum we needed to pass this man. So this time we're gonna do things a little different. We're gonna hug the bottom and get by this son of a bitch. It's time for Mackenpucky to take one down. I managed to avoid all the chaos and drama. I repassed almost the entire field and took down a stage 2 victory.
Way to go, driver.
But there was no time to celebrate. We still had the 3rd and final stage left and my knees were knocking. I took this time to take a breath and calm down. I changed my diaper while we were in the pits and everybody was back on the track to go for the big one. But I was flabbergasted when I realized it was only myself and Ryan Blaney who pitted between stages. I was in the back once again, and now my dreams of winning a Daytona 500 had become more dim than ever before. Why, Lord, why did I have to take time to change my diaper? It wasn't even half full. And if you ask me, it's all Loretta's fault anyway. The numbness done left my ear ages ago, and now they just hurt like hell. Now imagine I'll probably spend a good amount of laps getting the sand out of my coochie. But stick around, I guarantee you the fight ain't left Mackenpucky just yet. Now coming to 10 laps to go, we'd managed to fall in behind good old Jimmy Johnson. I don't know how many of you fellers watch NASCAR, but this is the man you want to work with in just about any race you're in. However, the pack was close behind, so we needed to take these few laps we had left to work together. We needed to gain some separation between ourselves and the pack. Then we could fight it out at the end. And so that's what I tried to do. I spent the next couple laps following old Jimmy around, trying to shove my nose up his ass and accomplish that very goal. But then that son of a bitch started running the high line. This was letting the boys on the bottom get a run, and I could not allow myself to be hung out to dry. We only had 7 laps and it was time to make my move. So I pulled down to block their momentum moving forward. I knew they'd soon make another run, but this time I was going with them. That made me the #1 engine in the Mackenpucky Express. But most importantly, it put me in the lead for the Daytona 500. Coming to the line, we only had 6 laps left. I knew these fellers behind me weren't going to let me have it easy. So I decided to do everything in my power to block like the little bitch that I am. And everything was going just great too, until a slow car coming out of pit lane slowed the rest of the field down. Now some of you may ask, why Mackenpucky is this such a bad thing? There's only 2 laps left and you've got a pretty solid lead. Well, you remember that little game we were playing at the end of each of the last 2 stages? The one where we'd lay back and get a run on the leader like a sitting duck. Well, all I can say is quack quack, 'cause here they come. And I may lose this whole damn thing if I don't find a way to do something about it. There was only 2 laps left, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I spent that whole 2 laps with my butthole puckered and my eyes in the rearview mirror. But coming to the line after 200 laps, 500 miles, I was a Daytona 500 champion. Now I do hope y'all like my video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Y'all come back now, you hear?